I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, we should be live.
That was so weird.
I don't know. Everything was fine on our end, but then YouTube suddenly cut out. So I don't know where the...
Can't handle how much streaming you've been doing.
I guess that's what it is. Like,
Uh-oh.
Tom, stop. Here's this.
Wait, hello?
No,
Test,
we're
test,
good.
test.
I see us.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a like.
We're gonna
We'll just hang out.
redo that.
Let's just hang out. We could redo the intro while no one's here.
Sure.
Look, Callie Kai Dad. They were on my stream. Hello. You want to redo our intro?
Yeah, let's redo the
Okay.
intro. Here we go.
Hello and welcome. My name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the couples table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse.
For richer or poor,
In sickness and in health.
as long as we both shall live.
And we're trying this again.
There we go.
Because we don't know what happened.
Yes, if you're listening to the audio only version, for some reason the stream dropped out. Everything was fine on our end. Like, it looked great, sounded great. We could get comments and everything.
Yeah, we saw your comments.
But it dropped out on YouTube, so...
And then I was like, wait, I think they can't see us. Because Sammy said we took a nap. And I was
Yeah.
like, did we take a nap?
So I don't know. So we had to start a new stream.
So
But
we're here.
we were running through Restream before to go through Facebook and YouTube, and now we're just on Heather's
Am I on the
YouTube.
right channel? I think I'm on the right channel. All right.
Yes, so we should be good. I don't know what it is, but anyway, we're back. We're live.
We're back. Let's go. Okay,
Okay.
so let's circle back.
So back to what we were saying when it might have cut out and you might not have seen this. If you, on my podcast, The Enthusiasm Project this week, I
Yes.
talked about something that I found on Reddit, which was just a post that someone was saying about YouTube. But I thought it tied into a bigger issue in the world of content creation stuff. And it's tied to things that we've talked about, but it also led to what I saw was a relatively new-ish YouTube creator feeling discouraged about something that I didn't really think they should have felt discouraged about. And so I did a podcast episode all about that. But what I wanted to do was actually share it with Heather to get her perspective on it, and then also share it with you to get your perspective. And I just thought it was sort of interesting because where this person was, or emotionally, it seemed like in the post, I feel like is a relatable place, but also the things they were talking about is kind of stuff that you may or may not realize is even happening. Some of it I totally didn't even realize what was happening. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing today.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
our main plan.
And hello to everybody here. Hello,
Thank you guys for
hello.
finding us
Thank you
again.
for your patience.
Yes, I
We don't
appreciate that.
know what happened, but so that's what's happening. And I actually listened to Tom's podcast episode this morning when I was working out at the
Yes.
gym, which I didn't realize you didn't want me to do that because you wanted me to have a fresh react.
I wanted
in
to
real
read it
time.
to you, but it's
Yeah.
okay because anyone here who hasn't heard my podcast, which is probably not that many people because everybody listens, right? No. Anyone here who hasn't heard my podcast, it will be new to you. Plus the
Yes.
discussion. And I'm glad you did actually because
Yeah,
you had time to
context.
formulate.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
so-
For sure.
Good call on your part. So
And very, very curious. I want to emphasize, we'd love to hear what you think, especially if you are, if you're watching this, we'd love to hear what you think because you're either a YouTube creator or an avid YouTube viewer. And so, this could be an isolated, this is what this guy thinks, but let's hear what you guys think.
So here's what I found, basically. This was one day last week. I was just browsing Reddit, and I found a post on one of the YouTube subreddits from a guy who the title of the post is question, how much of YouTube is actually just payola? And it's a pretty long post. You can kind of see, if you're looking at my iPad, it's a lot of text here. So we're going to break this down into chunks. But it's this long post that this guy wrote. And in it, he says that he has a background in marketing and stuff like that. And I did a little bit of Reddit stalking and went through his previous comments because anyone could say anything on the internet, right? Nobody knows you're a dog on the internet. Right, Ben?
Oh,
He's so tired right now. And so I wanted to double check and just make sure that this wasn't just an isolated incident of a crazy person being crazy on the internet, which is a thing that happens. And what I found was the person had been on for 4 years on Reddit, and they also seemed to be pretty legit. Most of their posts are not YouTube related. Most of their posts are about other things. And then when YouTube showed up, they kind of just asked questions here or there. Everything they said in previous posts, not that I read every post or anything, but it seemed like it all lined up. So I don't think this person is lying or I think this person has a finely tuned radar for what they're feeling, I guess I should say. And they strike me as someone who's probably middle-aged, not I don't want to call that older, but a little bit older, not like a 18-year-old or anything, just getting started, but they're sort of older, starting
Seasoned.
a YouTube channel. Basically,
Experienced.
what I found was that they have found themselves at home on disability and decided to finally dive into the goal of starting their YouTube channel and of jumping in, and then sort of found ugly things while doing that. And that's what they were asking questions about. So that's what we'll talk about. But Bailey, thank you so much.
Bailey, thank you.
Good luck token for take 2. Well, if it goes well, it's due to you. If it goes bad, it's your fault.
Not your fault. Okay, go.
Okay, so the title again of the post is How Much of YouTube is Actually Just Payola? And if you're wondering what is payola, the dictionary definition, which this person did put at the top, is the practice of bribing someone to use their influence or position to promote a particular product or interest. So how, might you ask, is that different than when somebody is just like a sponsorship on a YouTube video? You know, a company's going, hey, you have an audience that we want to leverage. We will pay you money. You talk about our product, and then we leverage your audience. So how is payola different? As you can see, here's the definition that through the magic of Ecamm, Heather is bringing up right there. And I think the key difference here is that word bribe, which is essentially the audience, the viewer doesn't know about this exchange of money. So anytime on YouTube that you receive anything, whether it's a product or money or a service or whatever, in exchange for making a video, you're supposed to disclose that in the description. You're supposed to say so in the video. You're also technically supposed to check the little box that says include paid promotion. So even if a company sends a microphone, this microphone was free actually. This SM7B, Sweetwater Sound sent me this microphone. When I talked about it in like my main video about it, I had to check the product box or the paid promotion thing. Even though Sweetwater wasn't like you have to make a video about it, they just sent it. That's happened with other things where it's like you don't even have to make a video about it, but I like it, I want to make a video about it, I want to use it, so I'm going to check the paid promotions box. Also tell people in the video, hey, Sweetwater Sound sent me this microphone, and then also put it in the description as well, so everyone is super clear. Chris says he's old enough to have experienced the term payola from back in the day. And look, Cali Kai Kid during Tom's break checked out your channel. Amazing passion. We make a fierce team. I am super glad, and we're streaming smoothly.
Great to meet you.
That's kind of the thing with payola, is the idea that what you're seeing as the viewer is something that involves a person being paid for, but not being told that. Like if I told you, like, we talk about these colored windscreens, the reporterstore.com, and then suddenly you found out Reporter Store was paying us to tell about them and to use them, but we weren't telling you. That'd be pretty. The word I kept using in my podcast was icky.
Shady.
Yeah, shady. That's the word.
And this isn't anything new. People have been doing this forever, but I personally like all the cracking down on transparency and stuff like that in this new world of content creators and YouTubers and influencers and whatever it is, because the accessibility and relatability to the person is so much more. There's like so much more affinity compared to a commercial that you're watching TV or product placement in a huge Marvel movie.
It's also,
we all know that's
that's a huge thing too, though, is they don't have to be nearly as strict. Like movies and TV shows,
right? But
don't
I'm
have
okay
to
with
be...
that. Like I think that I take pride in. I told this story before, but I did an Ecamm review over on my tutorial channel, and I straight up messaged Katie, which a lot of you guys have met because of Leap Into Live. She's the marketing person over at Ecamm. They gave me a free account. I told them, no, I want to make a review and have it be honest. Tom and I were sharing one for a while, and then when I decided to start live streaming weekly, I was like, I'm gonna go get my own. I got I'm a paying customer of Ecamm, and I have been for a long time.
Yeah,
pretty much all of this year. But just so that I can say, like, this review is genuine. I wasn't paid for anything. Yes, there's an affiliate link, but there's no extra cost to you. And if take it for what it is, but everything is above board and everything is transparent. And I like that.
There wouldn't be anything wrong with you going like, with you taking a free Ecamm account, but then you'd have to disclose that also in every single video you make about Ecamm, and it would just be like, it would be tiresome. It would probably make people feel like, well, then this is a paid thing. And so you're just sort of, it's just better.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's just my personal
yeah
philosophy of
this is
it.
what we always talk about, is you have to navigate these things for yourself.
Like maybe you don't care and that's cool,
Yeah.
but just for me that's but also just in the general scope of things, I think it's important that even though you're watching a YouTube video, it feels like, oh, this is just a person in their apartment bedroom or whatever.
Yeah,
But there's a whole marketing
it
team
has
or
that.
whatever
We can talk
behind it.
about that.
Yeah.
So here's the start of the post.
Okay.
The
we're not even there yet.
We haven't even read the post yet.
What were you reading?
Nothing. I read the definition of payola.
Okay.
So the post starts and says, recently, I have been approached by a number of quote unquote managers of YouTubers who have millions of subscribers and offered a chance to pay them to have their YouTuber to appear on my game show as a contestant, and then they will promote their appearance on my game show to their viewers. So this person's YouTube channel is game show related. Like they always wanted to host their own game show. Now they do. Now, as I've been a marketing consultant for decades, I can smell payola from a mile away. I then always ask, will they tell their viewers I paid to promote them? I paid them to promote me? And the answer was always, of course not. Now, this is bad, but what was worse was when one big name YouTuber agreed to appear on my game show. He even personally called me and really laid it on thick, and I stupidly ate it all up. Here I am, a new small YouTuber, and this big time YouTuber is praising my game show in numerous ways. I have subscribed to his channel for years and naively bought into the public persona he projected. Then, the day I was to record his appearance on my show, his manager called and said, okay, I'd have to pay an appearance fee for the YouTuber to come on. How much? $50,000. And get this.
Just for my presence.
Just to be, so I could be on your show. And get this, he made it out as if this was a steal of a deal. He normally charges at least double that, but because he loves your game show so much, he's willing to give you a discount. I said I did not have that kind of money just laying about. He said he understood and to call him back when I did. I never called him back, never will, threw away his number. They've never called me since. So this is the first instance that... So basically the story is... This person has their game show. They've been reaching out to get other YouTubers to be on their game show. A lot of people in the chat right now are streamers and reach out all the time. Hey, you want to be on my stream? Want to do this? Do an interview? We've all done it. People say yes, but now there's people, especially if he's getting to a certain level of quote unquote big YouTubers, where they're saying, yeah, I'd love to be on your show. It sounds awesome. I'm a fan of it. And then their manager shows up and says, yeah, we just need the appearance fee. It's $50,000. Sorry. And not only is it $50,000, but we'll never tell people that you paid us $50,000. And then, of course, we will promote you. I don't know, assuming the big YouTuber has millions of subscribers or something, we'll promote the video on all our channels, but we'll never tell anyone that it was paid for. So that's the initial start of this. Thoughts?
So I had one thought that was, so to me that makes sense. It's like, let's see. So one of my girlfriends in college, she's actually my best friend. She was like Miss Chinatown in LA for 1 year. It was like a beauty pageant. And she did this. She was kind of like an ambassador for the Chinatown like Chamber of Commerce. So she had to go and do appearances and stuff. And I'm sure fees were associated with that, just to...
Speaking fees, appearance things are...
Yeah, that's like a
things.
thing that happens online and offline. And we did Leap into Live. That was just a free thing that we wanted to be a part of. There are people who get paid several $1,000s to do speaking engagements, and when you're at that level, of course, you could totally do that. But the fact that they threw out $50,000 like it was nothing kind of makes me feel like, is that normal for that world?
Right. And they said normally it's half that. So I don't know if that's like a used car salesman, like, oh, normally we would do this, but for you, we're doing this.
But if it was someone that the guy actually wanted to be on their channel, that's like, it's not just it. Clearly, it's someone that they actually wanted. So
yeah, the guy who wrote the post wanted this person to be on their channel, and the person was making it out to be like, oh, not only are you a fan of me, but I actually love what you're doing, and I would love to be on it. And it wasn't until they had that agreement, and then the manager showed up and said, yeah, we just need the $50,000 fee, which
leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because I feel like most creators, if if the creator reached out and was like, I'd love to be on your show, and then in comes the manager because they get a cut of the appearance fee, it's just gross.
So there's another thing too, though, which for anyone who's in like traditional media would be like the SAG minimum, the Screen Actors Guild minimum, where for actors to be in shows, they have to get paid to avoid being taken advantage of, right? So you don't have people like, you're working for exposure, kid. Like, you get money. I forget what the minimum is now. It's not very much. It's under like $1,000 or something. But it's even stuff like on Saturday Night Live during the election when Alec Baldwin would act like Donald Trump, and he lived in New York and was just happy to do that. He couldn't do it for free. He had to get paid. He took the SAG minimum, which is like, I don't know, $750, we'll say. So he had to get paid $750 for each of those appearances, even though he didn't even care about, he didn't need it or didn't want it. And so there's those situations pop up where people are actually happy to participate and do something, but the union rules to protect everybody say, no, you have to get paid.
Yeah,
So
but it's weird territory in content creation
Yeah.
world because we have no rules
I was gonna
and
say,
everything
that
is new.
establishes a norm of appearance fees. I
Yeah.
don't know if that even applies to talk shows. When you see someone on Tonight Show, I don't know if they get paid for that. They might.
I think there's a pay thing there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
or
advertising.
pay to be on it. Like there's all that,
It's
but
the press tour.
you sort of, like you said, expect that in traditional media. YouTube, where it really feels like, hey, just come on, hang out with. I just got a camera. Just shucks, I don't know.
Nick said he'll come on your podcast for $50K.
Nick, that would be a bargain. So the other thing is having a manager. So I don't know if a lot of people know that a lot of YouTubers have managers. There's no barrier to entry, really. Like, you could have 300 subscribers and hire a manager, because if you're going to pay someone, they'll take your money. But some people do it for just for the easing their workload. So instead of, maybe they want to do sponsorships, but instead of reaching out to every single one of them and trying to go through the whole intro email spiel, I'm gonna have this manager. They know what I need. They're gonna bring the deals to me. I say yes or no, and then it's done. And I give them a cut of that because it's convenient. And then there's other people who have managers, which this sounds like some weird. In this instance, this sounds like some weird situation where, they're just gonna split $50,000 and. To be on someone's show for an hour.
I feel like there was a much better, less slimy, shady way that situation could have been handled.
The crazy thing to me is the guy doing this describes himself as a small YouTuber. So why do you think?
So it was a big
50,000?
YouTuber approaching the small YouTuber.
The small YouTuber invited the big YouTuber on his show. The big YouTuber said, "Yes, I'd love to." It'd be like if you got a message from someone, you want to be on my stream. Sure, that'd be awesome. And then I stepped in and was like, "Heather can't wait to be on your stream, but we need $50,000." And you're like, huh? That's not what? That's not what I expected it to be.
Okay. Moving on.
So anyway,
yes.
The post goes on to ask, because this person is legitimately asking you a question. Oh my gosh, the touch on the iPad is, I'm just all over the place. Aside from talking to other successful YouTubers, this isn't anything new.
Okay.
I won't name the names, as they were trying to help me understand the YouTube ecosystem. But in addition to paying hefty fees to do collaborations with more successful YouTubers, so you can pay to collaborate, not just come up with an idea, or to get a 5-second shout out from them, all, and this is key, without the viewers being told they were being paid to do such, and thus it is payola. The YouTubers I talked about other ways that you have to pay to play. One of them admitted he was going nowhere until he bought fake subscribers, views, likes, comments, and shares. He even tutored me on how to best, not me, the person reading, on how to best find the best click farms, and gave me the name of the one he used. He said that his channel is now successful, but it wasn't until he bought those fake subscribers that the bigger YouTubers then started doing collaborations with him. I was curious, so I called that one, and the sales rep simply amazed me. So this guy called a click farm, and there's a sales rep. The sales rep explained how their fake accounts are indistinguishable from real subscribers. All his fake subscribers would have American ISPs from all across the USA. They'd randomly watch my videos between normal viewing hours. They'd randomly stop after a while, since no one usually watches to the end, and that's a sure sign of a bot. They would occasionally give my videos a like, occasionally leave a comment that incorporates my show's name or my name, and on and on and on. The price for this high-quality fake subscriber was $1 each. If I want 1,000 subscribers, that would cost $1,000, and I could put him on retainer so these fake subscribers would continue to view my videos on a semi-regular basis. So that $1,000 thing wouldn't be a one-time fee; it'd be $1,000 a month for this person to basically use a click farm. And I've known about click farms, like you can pay for followers and subscribers, and always seemed really lame. But it always seemed pretty basic. Like, there's a whole plot arc of the TV show Silicon Valley that involves a click farm being used and negative things. But the click farm, it shows a depiction of a click farm, which is not a great working environment. And it's literally just people just signing in, clicking follows, like nothing crazy. But this is like imitating genuine behavior, like so that YouTube can't identify it as a bot, basically. That's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And that just sort of became the like, well, my channel became successful after I paid for a bunch of stuff. So I wasn't going anywhere. I worked with a click farm to get a bunch of subscribers, which then put me at a level that other people then started to take me seriously or pay attention to me. So it's like, that's what basically the tips that this guy was getting was people going like, yeah, that's what you need to do, is pay to grow and do all that, which leads me to believe if he's talking about, he found people that did this, that this is, and there's click farms that exist, it's because people are using them.
Right. Yeah. This is not abnormal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the rates are or what the
how common
it is, but clearly the service is there because people are using the service. Let's see what people think about this. Oh, wait, look. Oh, Todd Christmas Clatter said his fees go up closer to Christmas, so book in now. And Megan said it sounds like the big YouTuber didn't want to do it and didn't want to be rude. It could have been something like that. I mean, what I have an idea of is that maybe that person had their manager out and they're just like, the manager's just sussing out options, deals, and opportunities.
Yeah.
And then if the person's like, hey, you do this, you get $25,000, or your cut of $50,000, then there we go. So
because let's say it was Ninja, right? So I'm like, hey Ninja, you want to be on the couples table? Ninja'd be like, yeah, I'd love to. Here, talk to my manager. The manager doesn't know like who I am, and so he just gives the rate.
Yeah, this is what we charge.
You want Ninja on here? This is how much it's gonna cost.
Aaron said he watches my videos to the end. Does that make him? You should watch to the end because there's good stuff all the way to the very, very end. But if you have 1,000 subscribers and every video gets 1,000 views and every view sticks to the end of the video, YouTube's gonna go like, yeah, these are fake. Like, that's just, nobody has that kind of one-to-one community engagement. Speaking of money, Dr. Sev Talks Money says, I'm investing my money in a Roth IRA. I'll grow my YouTube and podcast organically or not at all. Well, yes. I mean, I think the reason I want to have this discussion is I believe we're all on the same page with this, which is like, I would rather have a small YouTube channel of real humans versus like a giant channel of bots that I paid for just to get clout so that, but I guess the goal in that case is it's not to have a YouTube channel. It's not to play on the platform or grow that way. It's to make as much money as possible. To do that, you need to have big numbers. If you can't get big numbers organically, legitimately, then you pay for your big numbers.
Sometimes bad agents will go behind the YouTuber's back and talk about fees. I'd be curious if the YouTuber in this case was aware of the agent presenting a surprise fee to the host.
I would bet that's probably a case. I knew Skynet was real. Jessica's asking a good question.
Well, there's cues.
Oh, there's cues.
Yeah, there's cues.
There's cues.
So we'll see. So if you have questions, we'll
just put Q colon in front of it, and then we can find it.
What is this, yo? What? Q. Am I pushing the wrong key? Q.
No, it's Q. Colon.
I don't know.
Capital Q. Sorry, now we're tech support. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, I'll start it.
Anyway.
Oh, because it's favorites.
Oh, yeah. If you just go to the search, then it'll
Q.
search it. We know how to use eCam. We swear.
Here we go. Oh, here's our Qs. Okay. So if you have a question, Q colon. Got it. Okay.
Robert, I saw you asked about podcasts, and Bailey answered the questions. Thanks, Bailey.
Oh, okay. Great.
Robotric said, so many fake personas be the reason people are fed up with, and one of the reasons podcasts is exploding, because of podcasts we can judge a person better. It's harder. That's the comment. I'm saying it's harder to be fake or phony for an hour or two versus a 3-minute video.
I don't think that's the reason why podcasts are exploding.
I don't think it's the reason, but I think it's harder to be inauthentic on podcasts for that reason.
Because, like where are you, where's the like, what do you mean by podcasts are exploding? Do you mean that new podcasts are starting up? Do you mean that listening time of podcasts in general is growing? Do you know what I mean? Like, it kind of depends, because I think discovering new podcasts is tricky. I think that's so much harder than YouTube, because there is no like platform to, oh, let me search. You know, it's harder to like find new content. And then what else was I going to say? What was the question?
Why podcasts are exploding.
Oh yeah, and then there's no barrier to entry. You just talk. Like, you don't have to.
I mean, you know, at the most basic level.
Yeah, well, compared to video.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you want to keep going?
Well, there's a couple other things happening here. So I feel like, well, maybe we could save
I feel like
Jessica's
that's
today, because that's a
yeah.
big discussion. I wanted to point this out because Ash said, it's the reason why I stick around with you guys. I don't find you make small YouTubers like me feel just like a small YouTuber. That means a lot. I appreciate that, but I want to dive in and go like, okay, small YouTuber is very much just based on wherever you happen to be. I'm sure, Ash, when you had 20 subscribers, that you thought anyone who had 100 or 200 was like a big YouTuber, and then you got 100 or 200 and you're like, well, I wish I had more.
Yeah, like, you'll keep saying that, which is why, like, I don't know, I almost take pride in being small and boutique and bespoke and specialized in all these things, because, you know, I don't care to be a massive
I've heard
YouTuber.
small refer to anyone with under 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, like, people on Twitter will be like, tell me your favorite small channel, and it's like someone, you know, someone will
check out Mark Rober.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
it's like
what?
14 million subscribers or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's sort of that definition there, but
yeah, we understand what you're saying,
and I just wanted to point out that, like, you know, going back to whole like Cody Waters thing they started years ago, no small creator, like
and I think the culture is evolving. I mean, I've said this a couple times, where people are starting to distance the value of a creator from their vanity metrics, and I think people know what engagement means. So you can have, you know, 10,000 subscribers, but if your videos are getting 10 views, it's like,
yeah, who cares if you bought 10,000 bots?
Yeah, like, we're kind of sensing that, and I think I want to say that more people are appreciating creators who have, you know, maybe couple hundred, couple thousand subscribers, and don't see them necessarily as like, oh, because you know, they don't have 2 million, they're not legit, or not, you know, not legit enough. Like, if you just watch content that's on the trending page, fine. You are in a completely different world on YouTube that I actually never really watched. So that's kind of the weird thing about YouTube, is that it's so big that there's a bajillion ways to do all of this. But,
exactly. And Tony, just to answer your question, we're using Ecamm Live. That's always the answer there. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's jump into the next part. And Jessica, we saw your comment, but we're saving it because I think it warrants a larger discussion. Now we're into the last paragraph, which is what I find. This is where I kind of got like the really icky feeling. So, okay, I know people on YouTube are buying views and stuff. Sure. I know it's weird that people are paying to be on other people's channel and not disclosing it. Like, that's just kind of sad to me. But here we go.
Yeah, but would you?
Would I? No.
Would you what? No.
Would I pay or no?
Like, what do you mean? Wait, what do you say?
Would I pay to be on someone's channel?
Would I pay to be on? Well, of course you wouldn't pay. But if someone would said, like, if Rode was like, "Hey Tom, can you be in our channel? We're gonna pay you $500."
Well, yeah, but it would be very obvious. Like, hey, like if I'm on Rode's channel, it'd be super clear it's a partnership. If the disclosure would be there of like, this is a paid business relationship. That is why I'm here. We're not just buddies hanging out, pretending that we're buddies hanging out. But it turns out, like, if it turns out we don't even live together and I just give you $5,000 every time we do a couples table, it would really change the feel of this show. But if we had someone here, like, I don't. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the sponsorship and the payment. It's the not disclosing it.
Yeah.
I think it's really lame to pay people to be on your channel, like, just for clout. I don't think it's lame for a company to want to pay.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's been going on forever. I think it's really lame for me to go like, I have a channel. you're a bigger YouTuber. Can I pay you to be on my channel and shout me out? But you don't tell anyone that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Is really lame. And then also it is misleading the audience, which is why it's lame, because then they think like, oh, I'm watching Friends right here. And it's icky. So the last paragraph here begins by saying, I don't know if I'll read the whole thing all at once, but he says, as a marketing consultant, I specialized in barter deals. So I called up a marketing colleague who does social media campaigns. So the person who wrote the post had previously worked as a marketing consultant and called up a friend who is still currently working on social media campaigns. I told him all the above, and he just started laughing. He then told me what his marketing firm does to bolster their clients on social media and says, everyone is doing it. He said that he personally knows that every single network, movie studio, production company, record label, and especially talent agencies does this for all of their properties and talent. There isn't a single TV show, movie, or song that isn't being artificially inflated on YouTube and all other social media. He jokingly asked me, how could the late night talk shows that are barely surviving in the ratings get huge numbers on YouTube? It's all fake so they can say their star is popular on social media. And he said, and many times he knows the talent doesn't even know what's going on, and it's going on their behalf, and they actually believe they're as popular as social media says they are. So this was done on purpose so as not to hurt the talent's ego by spilling the beans. And yeah, I think I lost my place there, but okay, I just wanted to pause there real quick. So now we're talking about mainstream media. And again, this is just a thing I read on the internet, so don't come at me here, but the thing that I had never really thought of was if you watch something like a late night talk show, they don't get amazing ratings. Like I think, Johnny Carson back in the day when there weren't that many channels could get 25, 30 million people a night watching. I think current talk shows really struggle to hit 1 million people, but then they post clips on YouTube that get 7 million views. And it never occurred to me because I was like, yeah, it's a short clip. People want to see the celebrity interview or whatever. But it never really occurred to me like, oh, the YouTube numbers are like way different than the broadcast numbers. And that's fine. But if YouTube was where people were mainly watching, why would they even be focusing more on the broadcast stuff? And it makes sense that smaller chunks are more digestible. So instead of watching the hour-long talk show, you just watch the highlights from your favorite actresses or actors, interview. It makes sense that would get views. But it also makes sense that it would just be fake. And I hate to believe that, but it's probably just fake, a lot of it, because that just makes sense. And if one is doing it, everyone has to do it, because you can't be the talk show that's getting 60,000 views and everyone else is getting 2 million, because it's going to make your show look really bad. So you have to keep up with everybody.
Yeah. And
a lot of it, like he said there, it's agencies, networks, managers that the talent don't even know. They're like, wow, my clip on whatever show is like the most popular one. They don't know that it was, fakely boosted.
Fakely
boosted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's the first half of that.
Okay.
Do you have thoughts?
I think I'll save it to the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it rounds out by saying, oh, I like this little story. So this person is talking about his friend. He said that many times he knows the talent doesn't even know this is going on. They're not as popular as social media. He then laughed and told me of a meeting where the network executives were amazed at how popular their TV show was and how the production company said they were impressed too. I asked why that was funny. He said that both of them didn't know the other was inflating the show's number on social media. They thought that they were the only ones doing it. They knew how much they paid to get a certain amount of popularity and thought everything beyond that was real. And it wasn't. It was the other party in the room who was paying to make it popular. I asked if he told them this, and he said, hell no, they were both paying us to make that awful show popular on social media. He chuckled and talked about the movie studios and production companies buying tickets to their own movies to inflate opening weekend numbers, make the movie a hit. It's all fake, my friend, all of it. And then he closes his post by saying, let me tell you that this has really hurt my morale for doing my YouTube game show. At times now, I wonder if I should even keep releasing videos. Sad face emoji. So that's the whole post that I just stumbled across there.
So I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, good.
But okay, the main thought is, this doesn't surprise me, and I kind of always knew. I didn't know to that extent of, I haven't had these conversations with people, and it seems like these are all legitimate conversations. And
yeah, I mean, we're working on the assumption that this is true, but also understanding that, like,
it's a Reddit post.
Right.
Yeah. The thing is, there are always going to be people who are going to take advantage of like any system.
Yes.
And I just see that as that. It's like, it's the same with social media. And I think because this is all still relatively new in terms of like human history, of course, it's funny because a lot of people focus on, okay, teenagers and students, their self-esteem is really being affected because of social media, which is true. But that's also true for non-teenagers, like people who are older. Networks, talent agencies, night talk shows, like
this strikes me as the guy who wrote this post strikes me as someone in his late 40s, early 50s, maybe even beyond, and he's frustrated
it's like,
with YouTube.
If that's just how it is, like Luis, I saw your comment that was, even though we're discussing this conversation, I don't think it really applies to the people here, and
it doesn't.
And so like, I think it's worth having this conversation because this is the reality of the platform that we are all on. And I think having this discussion helps kind of educate and, just it's so that you're aware, especially I think for us, we are so all about the quality over the quantity, and especially if it's been drilled into us that the vanity metrics are so important. I question, like, okay, this is kind of why I already know that Tom's going to get that YouTube silver play button. Okay. I know this is going to happen.
Okay.
But there's a part of me that's like, the silver play button comes from the platform that wants you to get more views on its own platform. It's a little like self-serving to me, where it's like, oh, let's give you this special thing to make you feel excited for generating more watch time on our platform. It kind of goes into that. Like the silver play button is just, a baby step in this whole world, because 100,000 in the grand scheme of things is just a drop in the pond compared to millions that are happening 24/7. And for me, I think that just like you guys are here, and just like there are people who are always going to take advantage, I still believe that these are the craziest, coolest tools ever. And they can change your life. They can, if you missed the last episode of the couples table.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's been life-changing for us. And I think it's just worth having this conversation so that you can decide for yourself what matters to you. If numbers matters to you, and here's the thing, we're human, okay? We get the dopamine rush when numbers go up. Like it's literally just how our brain works. And so I get that. And I'm not immune to that either, of course. Like, I check the numbers as well. But there's no way I would never ever pay to inflate anything. Like,
right.
Ever. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that is also
just not important to
FYI, me. Totally against the terms and services and stuff. Like,
yes,
you can just get your channel deleted.
And you talked
right
about
away.
this on your podcast, where it's like, why? So in the world of late night talk shows and traditional media trying to penetrate YouTube, it makes sense to me because they don't care. We are just a rating, right? It's like, we're just numbers. And so they're like, okay, 3 million on Tuesday and 5 million on this clip and whatever. Like, they don't care about engagement and, actual impact and all that
it
stuff.
Literally is like they want to be able to either like boost the celebrity's ego. So in that case, it could literally be like a talent agency doing it independently of the network. So it's not like if NBC puts a clip of The Tonight Show up and it gets inflated artificially, it's not even that they did it.
And it's interesting because it's like, dude, this is not even your world. Like, your numbers for Super Bowl and whatever, like, go stay in your traditional media TV world
Well,
and don't, because now it's like, okay, if you're inflating all of this using click farms, then you're also like changing the game for solo independent YouTube creators that are trying to freaking make a difference.
well, that's what the post
it's like annoying.
that's what I really wanted to focus on. I don't really care what mainstream media does because I figure it's just gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not gonna like most of it. But YouTube, the whole thing about like I'm not even gonna go like say anything negative about YouTube. If YouTube wants people to generate views on YouTube, yeah, that makes sense. I'm fine with that. The part is like seeing this person want to start their YouTube channel, get excited about it, get discouraged, and then it went from this thing of like one bad interaction with one YouTuber to multiples to then like the whole world and all media everywhere is everything I'm seeing on YouTube. This I should just give up. That's where I was like, okay, if you're feeling this way, other people are probably feeling this way. And that's what I actually wrote a reply.
I want you to tell the story about, I don't know.
The TV stations?
No, Charlie D'Amelio. And her.
Oh God, yeah, I can tell that story. But here was my response to this person, because originally I found this post like as I was getting ready like to go to bed, and I was just like I felt bad, so I wrote this stuff. Actually, there's a typo. I wrote this tough, TUFF.
Can't take you seriously anymore.
This stuff is definitely a bummer, but YouTube is a huge spectrum. Nearly 1/3 of the Earth's population has an active account, so it's tough to make any broad statements with accuracy. Granted, the percentage of those accounts that create content is significantly smaller, but hopefully you see my point. The good thing about such a huge platform is that you have the chance to decide what your values are and then act accordingly and only work with people you choose and who don't do ridiculous things like that. And a big part of that too was also like what I see is people playing the comparison game. So I'm going to use our boy Mr. Beast. I'm going to jump into this pool of electric eels real quick. This is not even saying anything about yesterday you read an article that said on average Mr. Beast spends $4 million a month on YouTube videos. That was an article. It was
a Colin Samir interview. Like they straight up talked to Mr. Beast. Yeah.
So Mr. Beast's budget for monthly budget for YouTube videos is $4 million.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't think that's a surprise if you see like you need a budget to do that stuff. That's nothing even against him. What the problem is when somebody says, okay, I'm going to do what he does.
I want to be a YouTuber.
I'm going
like
to
Mr. Beast.
I'm going to make those thumbnails.
He's not a YouTuber.
But the thumbnails he makes are thumbnails that anyone can make. They're designed in a specific way, but it's like you have a camera, a Photoshop, you can make that thumbnail. You can make a video. You can make a catchy title. Why are you not blowing up the way he's blowing up? And it's like, well, you don't have $4 million a month to spend on budget. Also, there's a team, like that's a company that has a face of the company, and you're one person.
Mr. Beast is such an interesting like case study to me because in our world of YouTube there is no, there's reality TV, and then there's like independent TV, and then there's NBC and MTV and these huge like people, and you can kind of tell the difference in budgets and all of that. On YouTube though, I feel like the portrayal, mind you, I'm saying this full disclosure, I've never watched a Mr. Beast video, so I'm very much outside looking in, but I feel like the way that people talk about Mr. Beast, or especially like his fandom, is that he's just this one guy. He's Mr. Beast, and he's making all these videos, and it's just him and like his like few buddies, and that's where I'm like, so I know you want to be a YouTuber because you want to be just like him, but I wish there was a way for you to see like the $4 million that goes into all of that, because it's not you picking up a camera versus how Mr. Beast's approach to video is totally different.
You comparing yourself to that just isn't fair.
Right. Like
you're not helping yourself by comparing you to that, because the example I use are the magazines in the grocery store. When you go to the checkout stand and it's all the celebrity magazines where it's like a 50-year-old celebrity with no shirt on and they have like a perfect six-pack and they're super ripped and stuff, and then you're like, what?
It looks good, babe.
Thank you. But like, I'm not even 50 and I don't look half what? And then you go like, oh, there's like an insane amount. Like there's a whole team of people to take that photo, to dress the person for that photo.
I remember when Kumail Nanjiani got like ripped for Marvel, he was like, I 100% understand why a normal person can never do this.
Yeah.
Because you have a whole
It's your full-time job to look like that. And then once you take the photo, it's insanely photoshopped. Like, so they do, going back to the Mr. Beast point, like they do have, you know, that's not like that person was actually this crazy like obese man or something. Like they're a very in shape person, but even afterwards it was taken to a level that they can't even achieve. They don't even look like that. And then you stand there and go like, I feel bad about myself for not being that. And it's like, dude, they're not even that. Humans aren't even that. It's like when you the reason that this post in a way is sort of comforting, and this is what I said on my podcast, was that if you're playing this comparison game and then you realize the thing you're comparing yourself to isn't even real or isn't even in the same like stratosphere as you're in, it's kind of like, it makes it easy for you to go like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can just be okay with where I'm at, or define whatever my success is on my own terms or however I want it to be. And it doesn't have to be based on comparison to somebody else or anybody else's definition of success or anything. Because you're going to find people, I mean, go to a high school campus and say you're a YouTuber. And so if you went into one class and said, I'm a YouTuber, the first question you're going to get is, how many subscribers do you have? Say you have 300 subscribers and you say, I have 300 subscribers. There's going to be kids in that class who are like, oh, dang, like I could never have 300. And there's going to be other kids that are like, that's nothing. And it's the same. But like both are 300 could be considered a small number. 300 could be like, they're both kind of valid, but it's like, it's not going to help you. You're going to have to be the one that decides in the end what works for you.
Yeah.
I hear furious clicking over here.
Okay. So let's see. First of all, everything on the internet is true. Abraham Lincoln
That's
said
true.
that.
That's true.
So excited for Tom to get his silver plate when it's coming soon. Yes. So I know I just said that, but here's the thing.
We also have a very long way to go, so let's be real here.
Yeah, but I don't know. You don't know you know YouTube. It's weird, but
Tube.
Here's what I think. Okay, here's what I think. For you to get the YouTube silver play button, obviously I'm biased, but would really almost be a win for, I don't want to say small YouTubers, but for authentic YouTubers.
Well, here's the thing.
Because it's like you didn't pay a click farm. You made all those videos.
I bought all
did it
the
all
bots.
yourself. Like, you worked
I hired a whole
hard
team
for years.
My budget has been $4 million a month. I'm
you
sorry.
basically worked 2 full-time jobs for 3 years. Like, you put in a lot of work, and I have seen the stress it's taken on you, how much money you spend on, every video.
Bots.
Like, it's a whole thing, and I feel like that is really going to be almost a symbol of hope for people who are like...
A beacon of hope.
Yeah. For people who are doing it real. Like, yes, you can totally grow a channel legitimately.
Yeah. Well, okay, so...
without having to do the, like, like, crazy gotcha clickbait content.
There's always the talk about, like, the numbers don't matter, and I think what I would like to say is that, like, I don't believe that, and if somebody says they truly don't care about the numbers, I kind of don't believe that. I think it's up to you to decide. I think it's up to you to decide how much you care about them, because if you're uploading videos and they're literally getting 0 views to where YouTube says no views, it doesn't even say 0, it says no views because you didn't even watch it. After a while, you're probably going to feel like, why am I doing this? But if you're uploading videos and you're getting 12 views and you're like, that's so cool. Like 12 people watching my thing. That's like double digits. That's amazing.
Yeah, but for me, like, I straight up don't, I don't.
But I think it,
like, obviously I want there to be a view of 1.
Right.
But what I look for is like what people say. You know, so like in my video today, Consistent Ash, thanks for watching. I appreciate your comment, sharing that you use Epidemic 2. Like, I don't care how the video is performing in terms of like how many views or where people dropped off and how many people clicked and blah de da de da. I care about, like, did I make sense? Someone else was like, thank you so much for sharing this information. Like, that's
what I'm saying. About, what I'm saying is this is an example of the other extreme where people are just paying to get their like, channel as big as possible. Because ultimately, then that puts them in, they can be in part of a crowd that they couldn't have access to otherwise. Because their goal is just growth. Their goal is just to have a huge number next to the name. That's the goal. The other end of that spectrum is to make an impact regardless of if the view count is 1, but you made a huge impact on that one person. And then there's everything in between. And I think it's very important. It's easy. I think in our world, our sphere specifically, it's very easy to go, well, I don't care about numbers. I don't want to focus on numbers. But I think it's also like sometimes then you might feel bad if you do find yourself going like, well, I do kind of want to like hit a milestone, or I do kind of want to get to this point, or, you know, it makes me feel nice when a video does well. And I think that's okay too. It just, how are you as an individual choosing to prioritize that in what you're making? And there's no wrong answer. Like, it's just a decision that you make for yourself and your channel.
I feel like I know in the back of my mind that there's a little fakeness to what I see on TV, and I don't want that to bleed over into YouTube, which is still pure to assent in my mind.
And that's with YouTube, there are still those very pure parts of it where it is just that.
The big media companies are going to spend money to protect their investments, even if that means astroturfing to keep ad rates high. It sucks, but it's reality.
And this is an example. I talked about this on my podcast. My very first job was at a local TV station.
Yeah.
And this was I started in 2001, so 20 years ago. And at the time we had 2 affiliate stations locally. So it was our station and another one. And every year they would submit for the local Emmys, which is like not what's on TV or anything. It's just you get a thing in the mail back that's like, you won, here's an Emmy. But anyway, and usually they'd win. It's like, it's the real Emmys, it's a real thing. But one year, because this was 20 years ago and you literally had to send a tape in the mail to be considered for the Emmys, the person at our station who was in charge of that missed the deadline to get it in the mail. And so our station didn't have anything for consideration that year. And the other station, by default, won everything. So I think they won like 5 Emmys or 4 local Emmys or something. And for the next year, every commercial, everything on their thing, I think the Emmys might have even been a part of their set, like literally like on set, was like Emmy award winning, multi-Emmy award winning, and the only local Emmy award winning thing, which was all true, but also like you had no, like, when they say Emmy award winning, it's true. The image it's putting into the viewer's mind versus what actually happened are 2 different things, even though they're saying something that is factually true. And I found that hilarious, especially because even with the strictest competition, they still had a 50-50 chance.
It's like finding out that some bodybuilders take steroids. Does this stop you from working out? No, it just means that we should think critically and make decisions we are comfortable with.
Exactly.
Someone else said...
That's coming from Nick, who had a channel that really like even on all sides of the YouTube spectrum in the past year.
Let's see. Robo Tricks. I think community building is more gratifying. No, I'm happy with 1 subscriber besides myself and no videos yet. You should get live phone calls like old radio shows. I am proud of you both. Oh, we were supposed to do a call-in show like every 9th episode. For some reason, we just stopped doing that. But we'll do a call-in show again.
It's hard because it's not like every 10th, it's every 9th. So then it's like 18 to 27. I don't know. It got confusing. Math is hard. But no, yeah,
it was
community
like
building.
With the 9 in it. So like 29, 39, 40. That's how I saw it.
I thought it every night.
So here's the thing. I'm not bashing on anybody. Like Mr. Beast, do you, big media companies do you. I just think it's worth having the conversation of here's how some people do it. And here's how other people do it.
And the platform is big enough for there to be all these different ways. And
which
my
is
biggest
great.
concern is just people being discouraged by comparing themselves to something that they really just shouldn't be comparing themselves to.
Right. Like if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out like, okay, here you're trying to figure out how to even sit in front of the camera. The last thing you need to be doing is watching people who have been doing it for 10 years. That's probably not it's just like such a far leap, I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you are the type of person who can watch like an Olympian and then you get into.
Well, it's not about watching someone that's more. It's because I know of channels that are in the millions and they literally make the exact same video they made when they were at 10,000 subscribers. Like it's still just like the one person doing their thing the way that they choose to do it.
Here's Observant Lee. If you watch the videos, Mr. Beast is pretty transparent on involving the cameraman in the videos. His Casey Neistat interview sheds a ton of light on it.
Oh, that was like an older one. Yeah, with my thing, I'm not even saying anything on the interviews I've seen with Mr. Beast. He's always been very like eloquent, I guess is the word. Like he's pretty just down to earth in that. He's very good at just making things feel accessible, which is a big part of YouTube.
His brand.
Yeah. And so for a lot of people, and I promise you, I've seen this countless times. For people who want to have YouTube channels, they think they just have to do what he is doing and they will get the results he is getting, and they won't. And that's where I want it to just caution people, like, do not set yourself up for that kind of failure. I mean, you can pay attention to stuff like take
notes. Yeah.
Yeah. You can take notes on certain things that, you know, at a certain point, there is some overlap there. Like, hey, there's audio you can hear and it's good. There's audio, you know.
I mean, so here, Dr. Stev, I care about the numbers in the sense that I want them to lead to paying clients and speaking engagements. I think that's the cool part of YouTube, is that you can use this as a tool to help you do whatever it is that you want to achieve for your life, whether that's making an impact on a large audience, sharing your story, serving clients, selling something that you made, however it is. But I've heard this time and time again where people will be doing such a great job. I see it all the time. People are doing such an awesome job on their YouTube channel. They'll compare themselves to someone who's just further along and then feel discouraged because they're, you know, someone else started after them and then they got there faster, and, you know, someone else this and someone else that. And I get sad when people are discouraged by things that aren't about you, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like there's a I think anyone who has a YouTube channel might have,
like, you should determine what your success.
There's a well-intentioned comment that will pop up on YouTube from time to time, which is like, say you hit a milestone, say you want to hit 10,000 subscribers, and you get to 10,000 subscribers, and you're like, oh my God, I never thought I'd have 10. Are you kidding me? And then someone will leave you a comment where they're like, your channel is so good, I can't believe you have so few subscribers. And they mean that in the nicest way. Like, wow, this channel, I thought it would be huge, and I can't believe it's 10,000. And you're like, I have like crawled over broken glass to get to this point. Like, this is the accomplishment for me. And they're just like, I can't believe it's so nothing. And that happens a lot. But it's funny because then there's other people who will be like, oh my God, dude, I can't. I remember, you know, we met someone that you did like a semi collab, not payola, years ago with someone who was like so excited at the time to get a shout out or to be featured on a channel with 5,000 subscribers. They were like, oh my God, a 5,000 subscriber channel is going to do, like, I don't know what to do. And it was this huge deal. And there are other people who was like, 5,000 is so small. Why are you even doing this? And it's the same number. So it's just the perspective that you're approaching it.
Yeah. Dr. Sev says, as a researcher, I can tell you that research results can be made to tell whatever you want. Same with these marketing results. I'm sure the results are still true, just slant.
Yeah.
You know? I used to not care so much about numbers, but honestly now I do, not just for my own gain or fame, but I genuinely want my work to reach more people. Yes. And see, that's how I see you, because I really think that the, you know, 100 people that were tuning into your live stream earlier were 100 living, breathing people all around the world. So that to me is different than, like, you know, because if it's 100 nobodies that aren't even there, like, that's scary. I feel like that's just sad, because that's just like
that's just what like are you even doing?
Thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's just to like, have the number next to the name.
It's just to make you feel better. Yeah.
Or, you know, like, you know, it's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge.
I'm
not judging. Tech Audit TV. My question is, if Will Smith pays Mr. Beast to appear on a Mr. Beast video together and hand out cash to people, why would I, the viewer, really care that Will Smith paid his way into that video?
I think, I mean, it's up to you. Maybe you don't. For me, the problem is that it's not disclosed. I don't care that someone is paid to do something. I don't care that somebody's going to tell me about a sponsored thing in a video. You know, I get annoyed, but what I care is when that is not disclosed, which is also literally like against the law to not disclose paid relationships on things. Like, there's whole laws about this, but that's what bothers me, is the not disclosing it part, not the fact that it's happening. It's the not telling people about it.
I think I get more like, I don't know what the word is, when it's like pushing product. So if you got paid to talk about a product and you're not going to say anything about that, I think that's when I go, So, like, well, how genuine is what you're saying?
Right.
Because you have a vested interest in, like, selling more stuff.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be as vague as possible, but there are two YouTube channels that I used to really like that I don't watch as much anymore. And one of the reasons is one of the YouTube channels was quite large and one of the other ones was a little bit smaller. And a few years ago, I noticed that the person from the smaller channel was now being regularly featured on the larger channel. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They seem like they're buddies and they're friends and stuff. And it just seemed like it was happening a lot, which was very interesting to me. And then I learned that the person with the larger channel wanted to like mentor, I guess is the word, the person with the smaller channel, which is fine. Like, hey, I've been doing YouTube for a few years. You're kind of just starting out. Like, I can totally help you. I see potential in what you're doing. We're in a similar niche. Like, let me help you out. Nothing wrong with that. But then they started sharing ad revenue. And so the larger channel was boosting the smaller channel, and in return was getting a larger portion of their ad revenue from their larger audience. And none of that was disclosed. And to me, that really did bother me, because as a viewer, it really looks and feels like you're just watching friends hang out. And I do feel like there is a genuine like friendship happening there. Yeah. But the reason it's on YouTube and not just hanging out normally is because somebody is because people are working together to boost numbers in a way that's not, it's not that the growth isn't authentic. There's no bots involved or anything, but the people watching don't know that, hey, you're on my channel and I'm helping your channel to grow, and then you're also going to give me some of your ad revenue for helping you grow because I helped you get a bigger audience.
This is why
that was yucky.
You know, here's the thing: as soon as you start making money with your YouTube channel, like you're a business. You are in business, right? But I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. They either don't see themselves as that, or you know, the masses don't understand that part of it. And maybe this doesn't matter, but to me, you know, if I'm successful and say I have 1 million subscribers and I'm going to blow up this small YouTuber so I can get a cut of their AdSense, is like super shady to me. Like, I just feel like that's because then the it's just like, that is the product, is the other channel. I don't know.
Yeah. So another
thing. Are you pulling it up?
Oh, no. I'm not going to say names here. Come on. But if you go to, you can just type into Google FTC influencer guidelines, which is the Federal Trade Commission, right? Federal Trade Commission. And there's a whole beautiful PDF that will pop up about, at least in the United States, but it also is in line with basically every other country that does stuff. And it talks about how to endorse products, work with brands, do collaborations. Because I saw Rob posted a thing that says disclosure only matters if somebody's selling something. But it's like the second page in this document, which is like, oops, I lost it. Basically, it's like if money or goods changed hand for the production of the video, it needs to be disclosed, is the government guidelines. And
I don't know if you guys know this, but Mr. Buck is all about the rules.
Well, so I have thoughts of like, it is crazy to me that it is way more strict for that than a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Because they're not disclosing, like, or, you know, you watch Into the Spider-Verse is amazing, but let me tell you, not that many people are using Sony Vaio computers, but it's a Sony entertainment production, so everyone's only using Sony products. You know, there was just I think it was it the Wall Street Journal? Somebody did a YouTube video this week that was talking about how Apple integrates its products into Apple TV shows, and it was like going through Ted Lasso and stuff, and it was like, there's 136 iPhones in this one episode, and they're always like at this part of the frame and this kind of thing here. And that stuff doesn't, you kind of expect it. You're like, well, this is a show on Apple. They're all using Apple products. I get it. But it's crazy, though, that they don't really have to even say anything. Whereas, like, you get a free, I don't know, Bluetooth earbuds, and you have to, like, jump through all these hoops to disclose it. But you do. And it's, I feel like so much bad can happen if you don't, that it's worth taking the extra steps to. And it's also the law. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but just because it's the law doesn't mean that you have to feel good about it. I think the reason why it's important in this case, again, is that the approachability of like Ted Lasso versus a YouTuber, you know? So that's why I think the transparency and disclosure is important, because when you're watching YouTube videos, it feels like you're talking to your friend, even if they have, you know, regardless of their audience size, because it's like they made the video and it feels the affinity that you're gonna have for YouTube creators is just so much more than a fictional character on Netflix or whatever.
It's ftc.gov/influencers, by the way, is the thing. But they're
Okay, really quick. Choose Adventure California Style. There's so many famous YouTubers out there that pay for editors, someone to come up with the story of the video, a person that films them. They literally do nothing. That's not a creator. So I disagree with this.
I mean, that's like a workflow. I have my thoughts too, but that's like a workflow thing where
I feel like so again, YouTube is huge and you can do it however you want to do it. And it's up to you. I think you find the way that works for you. If you want to pay people, if you want to, there are people who like the Try Guys. I love the Try Guys. They're a whole production. There's 4 Try Guys and they have a whole team. They don't edit their own videos anymore, probably. I mean, they started out that way, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with their videos because they're still super fun and entertaining to me. But I understand like what goes into that channel. And plus, I will also say, if you didn't know this, the Try Guys blew up through content marketing. So it was like, oh, the Try Guys go get waxed for the first time. And then you're partnering with the salon that's like giving you the wax. But I don't know. It's still fun for me. I know that because like
they've also never been unclear about that.
I think they have, though. It's like, okay, so today we're at the salon in Orange County, and that's it. It's not like, oh, this is all for free. I don't think they...
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just because, I don't know, I feel like I've never not... I don't know. But anyway, I see what you're saying, and I feel like that comes more towards, like, it reminds me of, as a kid, I loved more, like, DIY punk music versus, like, highly polished pop music because I liked the idea of a band trying to crappily record something in their own studio versus like a suite of producers that are able to make everything perfect all the time. As I got older, I was like, I just like good stuff and I don't care. But as a kid, it felt better to me to know that like these people are doing it how I could do it. Like I could take this and I could make a buzzy sounding recording versus like I can't work with a team.
I think so. This is why it's important that it totally depends on you because I am 100% like I did not like indie music because it sounded buzzy.
Right.
I liked the super commercial, like electronic, it's not even an instrument music. And I like that, and that's just my thing. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong. It's just, I think it's important to have the discussion that because where else are you going to learn this? Like, where else do people talk about YouTube life?
You just have to navigate it as you're going through it.
So where do you stand on using affiliate links in the description of a product review that you paid for with your own money, even if it's disclosed? Are you still incentivized to be
I love affiliate links. That's up to you, though, and your own ethics thing. So, like, and that's how I started earning money on my YouTube channel, which led to it becoming my full-time job. So I'm a fan.
So affiliate links are... to me, it's interesting because yes, if you obviously do a glowing review and encourage people to purchase the product, you are going to get a kickback on the thing because you're getting a referral fee essentially on whatever it is that you're talking about. But I think that with affiliates, the reason why I really like that way of monetization is because a creator could be very transparent with their values, with their branding, what their channel is about. So, if your channel is about Christmas stuff, like Todd over there at Christmas Clatter, and he's talking about the boxes, these beautiful Christmas boxes that you decorations or whatever, to me, it's like, I don't think that you would talk about them if you didn't actually want me to have it. Whereas the other way to monetize with a company would be through like sponsorships or brand deals. And there's a multitude of ways to handle that. But I feel like when you involve someone else, right? So for an affiliate program, you just sign up for the program. Of course, there's terms and conditions and stuff like that. But with a sponsorship, there's a contract being signed by both parties. And usually it comes with stipulations of this is what you have to say. Make sure not to say this, make sure to say this, drop it on this date, all these things where you start to it's like you're giving up creative control, and that's where I'm like, like it's almost like the affiliate feels more genuine to me.
Well,
I'm not saying it is, but that's how it feels.
that's where
to
it's
me.
up to you to decide. I was looking in that document, and it says if you're paid to endorse something, you can't say you had a great experience with something if you had a terrible experience with it. So it's basically saying you have to actually like be, but that's if you're being paid. It doesn't say anything about affiliate, because the question here really came down to if you're using an affiliate link and there's something I don't really like, but I want to put an affiliate link in anyway. That's
Because that's also like if someone buys the thing and it sucks, they're never going to come back to your channel.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, my civics and economics teacher, kids would always ask like what if questions. And he would go, what if you rob a bank and you don't get caught? What happens? And it'll always be quiet until one kid would go like, nothing. And he's like, yeah, nothing. And which obviously like you're going to get caught if you rob a bank. Don't do that. But the idea was like you did something wrong and you didn't get caught. What happened? Nothing. And so this is kind of that, like, yeah, you could be super shady with affiliate things. But like Heather said, it's going to hurt your credibility. People are going to go like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Versus like, I can speak for myself and say half the time when I'm talking about stuff, I know, well, actually I don't even have an affiliate link for this, but certain things like this microphone cover, I know people are going to ask about them. Or if I make a video about the Stream Deck, it makes sense to go like, here's an affiliate link to the Stream Deck, because I need to put a link to the product anyway, because that's going to be the first question people have is where can I go check out more about this thing? So instead of posting a super long, Amazon link or whatever, B&H link, post an affiliate link. Like, why not? I know we're running long today, but it's a hot topic.
Okay, really quick. Jessica, how do you feel about MCNs, multi-channel networks that YouTubers join? I heard so many negative things on it, like it's predatory towards small and big creators, but I've also heard good things.
I've never heard a good thing about an MCN. I've only ever heard people happy to leave their MCNs. I've never heard a good experience personally. Which basically, if you're not familiar with an MCN, it's a multi-channel network. It's a network, like TV network. So it's all these channels. We're all here, and supposedly then the MCN is going to help find sponsorships, help promote stuff, help
admin.
Yeah, take care of a lot of those things. From what I have heard on people, it's a lot of like, oh, and they get a cut of the ad revenue and stuff in exchange for that.
That's how they get paid.
A cut of the deals. Yeah. And in my experience, I've heard people saying like, it feels like they're taking cuts of my money, but I'm not actually getting like the benefit of, like, there's nothing happening that I'm not just doing on my own anyway, but then they're stuck in a contract for like 2 years or something. So you can probably tell I'm not a fan of it. And I've never personally heard a good thing about it. I think it was something that was really big in YouTube's early monetization days, where it was like people didn't know how to even navigate that. And so these companies swooped in, maybe in some cases to actually help, and in other cases to take advantage. And as things progressed, I think people are just like, I don't need you for this.
Yeah, luckily, see, this is where I'm like, thank goodness that thank goodness we weren't the first to this game, right? So again, if you feel like you're just getting started, this is the perfect time. It's not too late, because all of this stuff, all of the like, early monetization days, the way that they had to get paid back in the day, oh my god, there was so little control on the creator's part. The creator had no power. It was so much harder. Whereas now you don't need anything to be successful on YouTube. Like, what I mean is, like, you don't need an MCN. You don't need to do things one way, whereas before it was like, this is kind of the way that you kind of got to do it this way, because it's never been done any other way. But now you could build your own brand, you could sell your own products, you can do affiliates or not. It's kind of just up to you. And I would never join an MCN. Like, I don't know.
I would, if someone here has a positive story, I would love to hear the positive side of it.
And it's not because there is no positive story, it's just not my thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like as soon as I relinquish control in any way, I'm not about that. I don't know. For what I'm trying to do, I want to be in 100% control, and I want to make all of the decisions, even if that means I hire out, because I'm pretty sure at some point I'll get there. So even if, like whoever it was said, if I'm paying an editor to edit my talking head videos, like, I don't think that that's a diss to my content or anything. If the content's good, like, who cares who's editing it? I don't know. So that's why it's like, it just kind of depends on your
It's a little different for everybody.
Yeah. I wonder what the ratio is of channels on YouTube that are YouTubers versus just people who make content, musicians, companies, media outlets, municipalities, families, etc.
I'd be very interested to know that.
Yeah. Well. You know what data we're never going to get? That would be so awesome, though. But, like, yeah. It's so funny because...
You know what data we're never going to get.
It's weird that... How much you want to bet? If we all looked at each other's subscriber, like, box, it's all different. We're all watching. I can guarantee you there are channels that I watch regularly that none of you guys have heard of, and vice versa. And I think that's the awesome part of YouTube, is that it is so big. But just, again, you know, I don't know, be careful of what someone might be saying is the way to do it, because there's so many. There's always going to be, you know, a story of someone who has done it the complete
everybody's story
way.
is also a little bit different, so you're like, oh, that can't really be one way.
I'm a podcaster, and I had someone change a 5-star review to a 1-star review. They made some personal comments about me, which sucked. If you don't like it, that's fine, but bother to tell me. This, to me, is just the reality of the internet. There's just some people who are going to suck. And that sucks.
That is true. People can.
I don't know. Do you have anything to say?
I mean, it sounds like you're living rent free in their head more than anything.
Yeah.
By like them going so over the top.
Yeah.
That's annoying, but yeah.
Let's see. On my first channel, I was paid to do beard product reviews. Those reviews were not promotions. They were honest reviews. Plenty of negative, not recommended. Same thing.
No, I mean, that a lot of companies will tell you, like, good reputable companies, if they want you to do a review or paid thing, they are always very clear about, like, we want this to be your, like, they want it to be your thing, even if there's bad stuff in it. I think, what the heck? I thought there was a... Oh, there was a company I was... It was actually... It was Shure I was talking to the other day, and they were like, oh, you know, would be interested, but just, like, please don't make a hate video. And I was like, I would never... I don't make hate videos. But otherwise, lots of companies are like, yeah, be honest. The difference, though, is if you're paid to do it, you just need to say, like, hey, thank you to blah, 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 for if it's an actual sponsorship or if they just sent out the stuff. I guess in your case, if you were paid, you say this video is sponsored by blah, blah, blah. But then you can always say, like, but these are my actual opinions, experience, reviews, or whatever. And then you can say, like, this was great, but this part wasn't so good over here.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on doing specifically a tutorial video about a thing you received for free months after you did the original video you were asked to make? Do you still need to disclose? I see what you're saying. And I've had this question too. So like, say, okay, so here's an example. The microphone I'm talking into right now is the SM7B. Sweetwater Sound sent this over, as I mentioned. They sent it over for a video I made where I was comparing the Rodecaster to the Zoom P8, which is another mixer thing. And the reason they sent the Shure was because it's like the number one question that people have. How does the SM7B sound with it? Can it power, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't have an SM7B, so they sent me one. In that video, I made sure to say that Sweetwater sent it over. There have been other videos where the microphone's in it, and I haven't said every time the microphone pops up on screen, no. However, when I actually do my SM7B review, which I know I'm going to do a review on a microphone that's been out for like decades, but whenever that happens, I will in that case say, yes, they sent this to me here. So that's like a very gray area. So if you get something for free and the initial video, the initial review, you're like, hey, they sent this to me, blah, blah, blah. It's not sponsored, but it was free. I still think that technically, and according to YouTube's phrasing and according to the FTC phrasing, if the main subject of the video is something that you received for free, you should check the paid promotions box, which sucks because it does kind of mislead people, but it was something for free. And then I would just disclose it in the description and in the video itself, like, same thing, like they sent this to me, but you know, all opinions are my own kind of thing. And that's one of the reasons, like Heather said, where she's like, I'm just going to buy Ecamm because I don't want to have to even think about that.
Like that's why I think it's, because I know so many people who would be like, why wouldn't you take Ecamm? It's not even that big of a deal. It's like, what, $300 or something? Yeah, like who cares? It's nothing, but I want to be able to sleep at night, and that's important to me. And I want to run my channel the way that I would hope other people do. And if I'm going to expect that, then I need to do that too. So, but you know, however you want to do your
like
thing.
you have to kind of trust your gut. And
I'm not going to judge.
And it also depends if you're doing a 3-minute video that's just like how to change this one setting in a thing. Like, I don't know if anyone's really going to care, but if you're doing like a 20-minute video that's that's going to encourage someone to buy the thing potentially, it's probably good they know that you got it for free.
Affiliates are as valuable as the respect and reputation you earn and maintain. There's nothing wrong with them as long as you do it the right way. It's a win for all. It's a win all for everyone when done correctly.
Dan is someone who would know.
Yes. There was someone. Oh, here we go. Bailey. I only have a problem with affiliate links if it isn't disclosed. Yes, it doesn't cost me more money, but it's almost like, why not tell me that it is an affiliate link? Is something wrong with that?
Which you're supposed to disclose.
You're supposed to disclose it.
And if you
That's
look,
a YouTube thing.
Go to my video description, and this is very.
That is a rule on YouTube. You're supposed to disclose the YouTube.
That's just a rule
or
on all platforms.
Links.
And technically, the disclosure is actually supposed to come like really near the top, not buried at the bottom of your description, where people can see it before they click on the links. And especially if you're using something like Genius. So if you go to my video description, there's a bunch of affiliate links for all my gear. And after every single one, it says Amazon, 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 which looks terrible. But technically, since I'm using Genius Link and the link itself doesn't directly say Amazon, you need to put that there so people, before they click on it, know that it's going to Amazon. And that's it's not something that you would necessarily likely get in trouble for. But if anyone decided to take a look at your channel and saw that, then you could get in trouble for it.
Let's see. I've recently had more and more brands reach out to me to test and promote their products. I'm very selective with who I work with because I only want to collaborate with companies I genuinely like.
Yes, and in building those relationships that will last a long time. Like, you're building your channel. I saw your post, Leo, this morning that you've been making videos for like 5 years. You don't want to take that 5 years and throw it down the drain for one paycheck or one free product or something. Like, you want to keep it going.
What's something you guys have done to get subs, likes in your YouTube career that you regret doing?
I don't think I've done.
Well,
I'm sure I could think of something.
It's not that I regret it, but, and I've talked about this before, I have so many unlisted videos because they brought in the wrong people. And honestly, if I could purge this YouTube channel, because it's at 11,000 subscribers and there's only like 43 people here. Like, if I could just purge and be like, okay, if you haven't watched a video of Heather's in 2021, just unsubscribe. I would love for my subscriber count to be more accurate number of like who's in the community. But this is where something like a paid community or a membership or an email newsletter or mailing list is going to be a more accurate number of the people who are actually like, part of your community, like genuinely part of your community. And I don't regret those. They just were bringing in the wrong people. That ended
up making videos that brought in the wrong.
Yeah, so I just
people.
Unlisted them.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think I have anything, because the way I've tried to get subscribers is just by making videos that I think are good.
Tom he's always.
That's just how it's kind of always been. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, we talked about that. I've heard similar problems as with these MCNs, but for podcasts.
Yeah, I think that's probably more current, because it seems like every podcast I listen to eventually is like, no, we're part of a network, and then like a year later, they're like, it's our last episode.
Let's see.
Rob says never take legal advice from random guy. That's true.
Yes,
that's true.
If the trust is there, don't overthink it. No channel of any substance would risk losing trust on pretty much everything they have. Yeah, especially for people who are approaching this. Actually, I'm going to eat my words. I was going to say, especially for people who are approaching this as a business, but so are the media companies, and they're inflating everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you're a one person, like a me or a Tom, and we want this to be, our brand, we want our brand to be the way that we're like making a living doing what we love for decades to come. It is important that every decision contributes to the growth of that, the genuine growth, but then also we're thinking sustainability, longevity, and these like one-time things might be tempting, but in the grand scheme of things, like I'm always looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I try to.
And just to echo and repeat what we've said many times, you have to, make a lot of these decisions for what works for you, which might not be the same as what works for us.
I need to learn more about affiliate links. I use Amazon affiliates and make no money. I should look into every single company pretty much has an affiliate. I mean, I had for the longest time I didn't have to pay for Postmates because I was an affiliate. I talked about how Postmates was awesome. Let's see. I replied and deleted. That's funny. I have never and will never agree to a sponsorship or any kind of payment that requires video approval before posting. That is my hardline deal breaker.
Yeah.
Good for you, Dan.
It's funny because that's me too. And I've heard of, I know other people who are like, oh no, they always ask for a thing beforehand, but we've done stuff with the same companies.
Oh, this is so cute.
I apologize for spelling grammatical errors. I'm giving my daughter a bath. You're a teacher. How dare you have spelling errors?
That's adorable. I think people are watching less YouTube. I disagree. And also, who cares? Because, like, I mean, you could say that about everything.
I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like time of year versus overall trends. I don't know. I mean, sometimes YouTube releases that kind of data and stuff, but everything I've seen is it's all just
and
increasing.
It all goes back to, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Own your audience.
Yeah, but
have a way to contact them.
I wanted to have this discussion today, not even about YouTube, the platform, because a lot of what we're talking about has nothing to do with YouTube as like YouTube. It's the things that are happening on that platform, which is, other things. Watching Heather, did you actually buy? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did buy a boosted board.
Mm-hmm. And then I fell off of it.
Yeah, like the day we met, she crashed.
Because he has the faster one, and
I don't think we've ever told that story. So this is how we could wrap up our stream, maybe. So the first day we met in person, where she came to see my classroom, and then like the next day before she left to go home, we like rode our boosted boards to go get breakfast, because I was like, wow, I feel like the coolest person in the world.
We like rode our boosted boards and got pancakes.
Yeah, that was very adorable. And then we came back. It was a great morning. As we were coming back, mine was like brand new, and I was like, oh, do you want to try? Or we realized they were different. She had the regular one. I had like the
He got like
fast
the
one.
extra $200 one.
Yeah. and I was like, oh, do you want to try it? Like, do you want to see it? She's like a pro boosted board rider. I was like, you're fine. And so she got it. She was going, and I remember her zooming by the house on the street, and I remember going like, you look like you're from the future, because it just was so fast. And I was going like putting things away, and I just heard but I was like, well, what was that? I was in the garage, and then I went outside and was like, she was literally just face down on the asphalt, but it was August in the desert, so the outside temperature was over 100 degrees. The asphalt temperature must have literally been like 140 degrees.
I burned like
degrees.
my leg, my knee on the asphalt.
Yeah. And
my phone was like...
Oh yeah, you smashed your phone, which is a pretty new phone.
I just got that phone.
iPhone 7.
Yeah.
The jet black one. And I was like, oh my God. And she got up and played it super cool. And then I was like, oh my God. And like we went into like the kitchen table, and I got like the first aid kit out of my car, and it was like, here's bandages and here's all this stuff.
I was so beat up.
And she was just like,
goodness I didn't break anything. She
was like, oh, I'm okay. And I mean,
like my knee hurts to the day.
Like,
no,
but there was like a lot of blood, and your knee had like a weird bubble on it for like 6 months. Like there was kind of long-term things, and you scraped up like.
And this is all. There's a vlog.
But the thing was, Heather played it so cool. She's like, no, well, I don't know. Anyway, I should get going now. Okay, I'm gonna go. Here's the thing: is that what I have since learned. So yesterday, Heather walked up to me and just went, and I was like, what is it? And it was like you had picked the like.
I had it like a hangnail.
The follicle thing where it kind of like you pull it a little too deep around your fingernail.
And it hurt.
And I was like, yeah, I think I can see like a little red spot there. I know it hurt, but point is, like, I have learned that she does not.
I have a very low pain tolerance. But because I didn't know Tom, I wasn't going to cry about it.
Which was absolutely insane considering how much pain, because I was like, you must be in so much pain. You're like burnt and bloody and like impact. Oh my gosh. And you were just so cool about it. And then now I see like,
I'm fine. Yeah. I'm totally fine. If that happened today, I would be crying for hours. Because I gotta show it. I had to, keep it cool.
You kept it together.
But then, like, now it's like, I know you can help me, so I just, like, kind of give in to the pain.
Well, that's why, like, stuff happens sometimes.
Sorry.
Anyway, also, what I've learned now is Heather's reaction to, like, seeing a Black Widow, falling down and getting hurt, someone breaking into the house, or a moth.
Same.
Exactly the same.
Yes. It
And
could
so
be...
I will be like working in here and I'll hear like, ah! And I'm like, are you okay?
It's a ladybug.
But it's like, then it's silent. And I'm like, is the silence because are you unconscious? What's wrong? And I go out and it's like literally like, there's a ladybug. I'm like, okay. But then other times it's like,
yeah, like I cut myself bad.
Yeah, when Finley, our puppy, was a puppy, and we had the metal crates out, every other day we were like cutting and scarring ourselves on the stupid metal crates, and so it'd be like, ow, and then there's a huge bloody thing. It's like, anyway, married life.
Thoughts on using TikTok to bring in new audience to your YouTube platform? I've always been so against it, but I'm brainstorming ways to dip my toes in the water. Dan, you know what? Here's what I would say. I think you should try it, man, because you have a very visual. You have a beard.
Because you have a beard.
Yeah, and it's
TikTok's all about beards.
No, because it's so visual. Like right in the first second of watching your thing, it's like it's so obvious what.
I have no experience with TikTok, so I really can't say. The only thing I can say is people I've heard who have built up pretty large followings there have had a hard time moving them. But that's just literally stuff I've heard. So
I think you would do really well, Dan.
I don't think it will hurt.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
I had a company ask me to see the video before I posted. No way. I think they knew that review was going to be less than favorable. See, then just ask for feedback, yo.
Yeah.
Not you, but the company. Like, never do anything willingly that will interfere with your sleep. Trust me, as you age, there are things beyond your control that will take care of that. Yes, Donna, there you go.
You don't need to be adding to that. Pancakes.
That's
true.
This is true. You had pancakes. I have.
Rob bought me a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
And I am grateful.
We had grilled cheese. Looking forward to the next one. Let's see. Slim my Harley.
Weird Bubble is the name of my new radical.
Ooh. Bye, Leo. Okay, I think we're going to end it.
All right. And Dan is diving into the world of TikTok. So
it
was nice knowing you.
But I really think that you're going to... I think that your content would do well. I think it's harder for people who don't have something visual to show. You have to communicate something in 15 seconds.
Just make it about hats. You got lots of hats. I feel like Dan's uniquely savvy with these kinds of things. So
yeah.
You might have a different
I think
way
that you can get really creative. Yeah. Plus you have so much visual stuff. I think you're going to do it.
Patrick says waffles are going to You know what? We
went there.
I kind of agree.
What?
Yeah, I've told you that. I'm a waffle guy.
Well, actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. I like both, but like if you had like, here's a great pancake or a great waffle, which do you want? I'll go for the waffle. Otherwise, it'd be awful.
All right, guys.
Anyway,
let's go.
To lie would be unlawful.
Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie, excited for you to close out the show today. That's not right now, right? That's at 3:00?
Yeah, we got to go see. So you can still leap into live.
Leap into live. It's been so much fun.
Check out Mr. Camera Junkie at 3. No fee.
Yes.
You'll see.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any suggestions for future topics, let us know. And maybe we'll do a call-in show next time.
Table. Next time, I thought we had a topic.
Oh, shoot.
Whatever. We'll do call-in shows at some point.
I even said, we're not going to forget this.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.